Okay, guys, good afternoon and welcome to week 3 or session 3 of the hashtag Grow Her Game series, Filipinas Football Forum at Home. And our topic for today, a very exciting one, I hope, for everyone out there, the potential of girls football from the standpoint of Philippine youth girls coaches. And to introduce them to you, my fellow moderator, Natasha Alquiros, take it away.
So hello everyone, thank you for joining us. So first of all, we have Coach Marielle Benitez-Javellana, also known as Coach Yell. She was from Manila. She's the athletic director of the Philippine Women's University. She's been with the national team. She was a captain of the national team from 2005 up until 2013. She also had a tremendous UAP football career, and she was also the first ever team sport winner of the UAP Athlete of the Year. She was the assistant coach for the national team in 2016. She was the assistant coach as well in the AFF U14, where they won a silver medal, and she was the head coach in the AFF U15, where they also won a silver medal in 2017. Known as Coach Yell, already with a B license. So thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks, Tasha. Thanks
So
for having me.
we also have Coach Joyce Landagan, also known as Coach Joyce from Manila. She's the technical and program head of the Beach Hut Football Club. She was with the women's national team from 2001 to 2005. She was the head coach of Poveda for 2 years before handling and starting her own Beach Hut. She was the assistant coach for the national team in 2016. She was also attached to the youth national team for a long time. She was the assistant coach in the U14 when they won a silver medal in 2014. She was the head coach of the U14 when they won a silver medal in the AFF U14. And then she was an assistant coach again in the U15 silver medalist with Coach Yell. So she was part of that whole era of continuous medal performances for the national team. Currently a B license. So welcome, Coach Joy.
Thanks, Tash.
And next off, we have very far out Coach Rose Apps Bariñan. Coach App, known for everyone. She's from Davao. She's the head coach from the University of San Carlos women's football and futsal team from 2018 to the present. She's also the head coach of the SHS Ateneo de Cebu High School Girls from 2010 to 2018. She was the assistant coach of the youth national team in 2019, and she was also attached to the national team during her A license performance. She's still currently waiting for the results of her A license. So thank you for joining us, Coach
Thank you, Tash. Thank you.
And last but not the least, we have Coach Rachelle Ching Delos Reyes, known to everyone as Coach Ching. She's also from Davao, and she's the Women's Committee Chairperson of the Davao South Regional FA. She was part of the national team from 1999 up until 2009. She had a stint of playing football for a club in Singapore as well. The head coach of Ateneo de Davao High School Girls from 2011 up till present. She was also an assistant coach for the youth national team for various years. She was attached with U13 and U16. And the most latest was she was a national team head coach for the U15 in 2019. Now she's also currently waiting as well for her A license results. Let's give it up for Coach Ching. And of course, let's dive straight into all the football of it. A lot of the girls here women here, of course, all have great insight in the sport. But we'll start first, of course, with Coach Yell. Coach Yell, you've had a great playing career. You're, again, one of those iconic players when it comes to women's football. Can you tell us about your transition from playing for the national team and then eventually deciding to coach?
Yeah, well, Tasha, I never really imagined myself to handle or to coach a team. I said that after I would retire from playing football, I'd always want to give back by giving football clinics, giving all the, just, touching base with the youth, but never really handling a team. It was in 2016 when an opportunity came in. Coach Aris Caslib, Coach Marlon Maro, our former coaches in the national team, offered the opportunity to coach alongside Coach Joyce for the under 14 AFF or AFC tournament. And it was something that I had to think about. I said I'd give it a try for 6 months from the preparation to the tournament. Um, and after that, it was such a successful campaign that I just continued on till last year. So it really wasn't in the plan. I coached on the side with Football Fanatics to help the young girls, but it wasn't something I saw myself doing for the long run. But the experience I've had with with the youth national team, really brought that continuity and the passion and the love for the game.
But since you as well started out as a player, can you take us through how you've continuously improved your coaching?
I think just through the coaching courses, there's a lot of things that you can learn. You update yourself. You expose yourself to the UAAP together with you when we do football analysis. You watch the World Cup games. I think initially my intention to take the coaching course was really to help me when I would do football analysis on TV. And the coaches in the course were saying, you study not you study so that you can help develop the game here in the Philippines. And maybe that's one thing that struck me, that I've had such a blessed and fortunate football career, from playing from high school in Parafood Rose, and a really good playing career in the UAAP, and then playing for the national team, that there's just a lot of experiences, a lot of learnings that I think I should be able to help or to share to the younger players. So, I mean, it's still something that I'm learning now as a coach, being attached to Coach Buddha, being attached to Coach Joyce, learning from Coach Bell. I mean, with all the other coaches that I get to coach with, every training, there's always something to learn.
And as you're saying that there was a time that you were attached to Coach Joyce. So Coach Joyce, your how you went through this was very different, in a sense that you were also working in the admin for PFF. So there was a time that you were working in the admin for PFF and coaching at the same time. But what made you decide to make that move to coach full time?
Well, yung sa akin kasi, actually, yung start ko before na yung coaching is hindi pwedeng nag-coach ka lang. Actually, that time, kailangan may iba kang work. So, for me, parang best place to work habang nag-aaral ako or gusto kong matuto yung about sa football is PFF. So, ang open that time is the women's admin position. So, kinuha ko siya. Then, nagkuha ko ng license. Habang kinuha ko yung license, then eventually, nung time na nag-transition na may mga situation na biglang kailangan ko mag-coach kasi hindi bigla pwede, for example, si Coach Lelet, then that's the time na doon ko slowly na-realize na yung fulfillment din talaga pagka mag-coach ka ng, especially sa youth, iba talaga. Iba talaga pagka, so that's the time or yung reason then from admin, ngayon kasi different na rin yung treatment natin sa mga coach. Kahit paano may importance sila, kahit paano pwede ka na in a way na parang full-time. So, yung nung nakita ko na medyo established yung coaching sa Philippines, so that's a time na parang, pwede na ako mag-coaching, mag-focus sa coaching.
And of course, as you said, yung mga coaches ngayon, we take the licenses to be able to coach better. Can you take us through your coaching course abroad? Share with everyone how much taking that coaching course abroad has helped in your coaching career.
Sobrang malaki yung part ng mga coaching courses ko actually. Nag-C license ako, sa Vietnam ako nag-C license, and B license sa Malaysia with Coach Lelet. It's nice na I'm lucky also na na-expose ako sa ibang bansa. Kasi at at least yung mga kasama kong coaches, and yun nga, yung coaching courses na yun, licensing coaches na yun, for women's talaga. So, lahat ng women. So, ang dami ko nakasama, ang dami ko talagang natutunan dun sa mga courses na yun, yung B-license na namin, kasama namin yung mga nag-World Cup na player, Sunwen ng China. So, sobrang dami na matutunan. And then, pagka nag-licensing ka kasi, yun nga, agree ako kay Coach Yel na every time na matouch ka, kahit kanino, every time na punta ka sa field, madami ka matutunan. Even ngayon na online yung mga coaching or session, madami ka matutunan. Not only sa coaches, but also sa bata. So, very important for me yung licensing, yung education para mas tumaas lalo yung quality ng women's football dito sa atin.
That's good to know. And of course, as you're talking about how important the licenses are, we have a coach here as well waiting for her A license result, Coach Apps. Coach Apps, your story is very different in a sense na karamihan is Manila-based. Usually the popularity of football is in Manila. But as you said, you had your coaching journey being based in Davao and Cebu. So take us through that.
At first, Tash, wala talaga sa mag-coaching. I just want to for Brother Mari encourage na license. After ng course, parang may nag-refer sa akin to handle the girls team. Then after nun, parang yung feeling is fulfilling kasi fun, then nag-enjoy masyado ako. Tapos fulfilling kasi yung mga drills or mga plays, parang nakukuha nila. Then yun, after nun, may B license na naman, kaya kuha na naman ako para more knowledgeable ako. And then, dun sa B na, after ng presentation ko sa parang in-invite din ako ni Coach Maro and Coach Aris na mag-attach sa national team. Dun na nag-start.
Okay, so as you were saying na, okay, then yung experience mo, being able now as well that football is growing so much that now we're even able to tap the coaches, not just in Manila, but outside as well. So Coach Ching, someone who has been coming from Davao, you've worn a lot of hats in football. Even at the time in your life, you're also a referee as well. So how did you decide to zone in and focus on coaching?
Because of my experience na sa local, national, and international na playing as a player, doon ko nakita na tayo mga Pilipino, yung girls natin, kaya nating makipag-compete sa ibang countries, Southeast Asia. Let's say, unahin natin Southeast Asia, kaya natin. Bakit ako andito? Kasi, yun nga, nakita ko na madaming girls na napabayaan. Hindi, yung parang wala masyadong nakakonsentrate sa kanila, walang nagko-coach. Then, siguro time na rin to na ma-share natin o ma-share ko yung mga experiences ko kasi yung national team natin, andyan lang yan lagi eh. And then, yung time na yun na as a player pa ako, yung mga coaches natin, sila Coach Maro, sila Coach Aris, nag-i-encourage na mag-take tayo ng courses. So, through courses, doon na-apply natin nabibigyan natin ng tama yung mga players natin, natuturuan natin sila ng tama. So, malaking bagay yon na pag tama yung tinuro natin, mas malaki yung chance na mag-improve sila and then maka-provide tayo ng players for the national team. So, yun yung mga reasons ko bakit ako napunta talaga sa coaching din.
And of course, Coach Ching, as you're talking about your background, you're also the Women's Committee Chairperson of the Davao South Regional FA. So, what does it entail to take on that responsibility?
Kasi FAs, importante talaga na may mag-handle, na in charge talaga para ma-develop yung women sa isang area. Kasi kung walang gagawa ng programa, walang magpupush, walang magpursige, mawawala at walang girls silang ma-develop in that area. So ako as in charge sa women's dito sa Davao, as much as possible gusto ko bigyan ng chance lahat ng girls kung sinong gustong maglaro. At saka yung mga interested, makita na potential, malay natin, di ba? Kahit nasa ibang sport yan, potential pala siya, mas malaki yung chance niya to be a football player. No? Kasi yung girls natin, ngayon hindi pa natin masabi na yan na yung sport niya. So, ano lang talaga, kailangan makita tayo, kailangan visible, active. So, yun lang.
Okay, and as you were talking about that as well, earlier we discussed certain things. So the Regional Football Association, or also known as the RFA, so we said there's always one woman as well part of that RFA in each area who's in charge to help develop women's football. And as he said, that there's some that have taken active and inactive roles. How do we make sure that more of these representatives are taking an active role?
Para sa akin siguro yung isang FA bigyan lang talaga siguro ng i-strengthen nila yung women's football nila sa area nila, wag nila i-disregard, and then maglagay sila ng tao na willing to work, no? Alam naman natin na pag nasa FA tayo wala naman tayong mga sweldo or ano, no, kasi ang atin lang is gusto nating makatulong lalo na sa mga younger generation. So kailangan active lang talaga, kailangan support from FA, kung may programa man, support ang FA, ganun lang, or tulungan maghanap ng sponsor kasi yung hindi tayo makapagpa-tournament kung walang tutulong sa atin. No, hindi naman laging sa bulsa hindi naman pwedeng sa bulsa natin galing kasi yung referees hindi naman pwedeng thank you yan. Magpapalinya ka sa field, hindi naman pwedeng thank you hardware, yung mga ganon. So, kung may hardware na willing mag-sponsor, edi libre na yung ano mo sa field, yung sa mga palinya, mga ganon. Madaming bagay na kailangan talagang minsan kahit hindi para sa'yo, gawin mo, no? Maghanap ng sponsor kasi hindi naman yan para sa iyo sa mga bata yan na malay mo isa sa kanila maging part ng national team, mga ganun ba, malaking bagay na yon kasi hindi naman sa iyo yun makikredit sa buong FA naman yun.
Very inspirational, of course, the way that you talk about it. And we'd like to ask as well, Coach Yel, speaking of from someone who, as I said earlier, is very iconic in the women's football scene. You've had a lot of experiences, whether as a player and as a coach as well now. So what are those experiences and those important moments that you want to be able to share with that next generation?
There's a lot. I think just playing for the national team, being able to represent the country, to have that pride, to be proud to be wearing that jersey, to be competing internationally is one experience that no money can pay for. For you have to work hard to have the ability to make it to the national team. And that's something I'd want the young girls to know. It's a lot of hard work, but when you are able to play your game, I think from high school to college, to be able to play for the national team, there's a lot of fulfillment in that. One thing I would also tell Coach Joyce when I got into coaching with her, I said, Coach Joyce, with the under 14, the girls are very young. They'll be with us about 3-4 weeks. And I think the first thing that we would have to do is to change the mindset that when they get into a training camp, it's not vacation. It's not slumber parties. It's not going traveling with your friends. Yes, it is traveling with your friends, but it has to have a purpose. And I think with the two teams that we were able to handle together, we were successful in changing that mindset that when they go into, when they play for the national team, the intensity has to be different from maybe their school teams. They play with the best of their age group. They are representing the country. And when they go play in the tournament, it's really to win. It's not merely participating. It's not an exposure trip. So the hard work has to come from them playing in the schools, making it to the national team, and then eventually really representing the Philippines to win tournaments and not to be Miss Congeniality when you get to the tournament. So I think for me, from my experience, yun yung pinaka-importante, to be able to impart that of how much honor, how much pride, but how big a responsibility it is to represent the country.
Coach Joyce, do you have anything to add to that? As of course, Coach Yel's first coaching experience was with you.
Yeah. Actually, yun. Same kami, Coach Yel. Actually, yung mentality natin, kasi I agree, hindi madali maging national team. Madaming, lalo na external factor na pwede kang ma-out of focus dun sa goal mo talaga. But lagi tinuturo namin nila Coach Yel na yung sarili mo, kailangan talaga dun mag-start lagi. Kung ano yung mga bagay na, yung mentality na focus on the things that you can control. Yun muna. And then, from there, antayin natin or tingnan natin kung ano yung mangyayari, ano magagawa nating impact to change yung external factor. But we have to work first yung sarili natin. Yun siguro yung isa din sa akin na pinaka-importante na during times na nag-coach kami sa youth sa national team, very important yung mga activities kami nila Coach Yel to really parang develop yung mga parang characteristic yun or attitude yun.
I think to add to that, Tosh, if I may, we're not scaring the young players not to play for the national team, that it's going to be, of course, it's serious. There's a lot at stake when you're in the national team. But I tell you, we also have a lot of fun. Even us coaches, we learn to have a lot of fun when we're with the kids 24/7. And I think it's really those bonding sessions that you do off the pitch that I feel has helped us get the team together when they play on the pitch. And just, like now, memories keep popping up 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And you remember, although, of course, I'm sure the girls remember how much they ran, how tired they were. But I think they would also remember how fun it was to do team building exercises, how to crack the egg to the golden egg, and all these exercises that we have for them. So I think it's that mindset that if you're able to build the team off the pitch, it carries over to how they perform on the pitch.
Very good insight as well, that it's a holistic development. It can't just be the coach. Being a coach isn't just on the pitch. You still have to be a coach and help guide them off the pitch as well. Coach Abs, for you, you've been handling a lot of players and sending them over to Manila when it comes to youth national team. But what is that you want to share with that next generation? What is your approach to coaching?
Sorry. First, yung mga players na naging part ng national team, galing din yun sila sa mga coaches sa province. Tapos parang, kasi yung aim namin, mga coaches from provinces, yung aim namin is mag-produce ng players, na quality players for national team. Tapos, yun. And then once, yung sa FOF na, before namin, sinasabihan namin sila na dito may possibility na ma-scout kayo, dapat ayusin nyo yung laro nyo, yung attitude nyo on and off the pitch. So if gusto nyo talaga maglaro for national team, galingan nyo on and off the pitch. Yung attitude, yung hard work, yung mga sacrifices, yung self-discipline ng mga players.
Okay, Coach Ching, do you have anything to add with that of what you want to leave, of course, for that next generation?
Same with lang naman Coach Apps. Hindi yan madali, no? Listen to your coaches. Dapat ganun. No, hindi pwedeng magaling na ako, mas magaling pa ako kay coach, lalo na yung mga nag-national team na or naging member ng youth. Kailangan mag-improve sila, hindi yung dun lang. No? And then, malaking tulong kung sila mismo sa sarili na mag-set sila ng objective kung saan nila gusto. No? Kung local lang ba gusto nilang maglaro, or gusto nilang maging national team, or gusto nilang mag-school-based. So, ganun lang. Para mas madali. No? Dahan-dahan silang aangat kung gusto nila sa mas mataas pa. So, yun.
So as a lot of what all of you have been saying, it's really a lot about that mindset na rin. Yung mindset nila of what they want to be able to do with their talents moving forward. And of course, moving forward as well as what you want to leave with that next generation. Coach Joyce, there are a lot of football academies in Manila. But what was your motivation behind starting your own football academy?
Yung motivation kasi with starting yung beach hut, just a little bit background sa beach hut. Nag-start kasi siya when I met yung owner ng beach hut talaga. Okay? And I'm very lucky that time na nakilala ko siya kasi she supported yung purpose ng beach hut. Which is, one is, kasi ang thinking ko that time, parang with experience sa national team, dito ba talaga kami mag-start? Dito ba talaga yung start ng dapat yung player, yung youth player sa national team ba talaga nag-start ma-expose siya sa 11 aside or yung the way nag-approach siya sa national team or coaching sa national team. Doon ba talaga o kailangan meron kami kahit pa base sa ano. So yun yung naging motivation namin to start yung Beach Hut FC. Ngayon, it's really venue para sa girls na sa kanila mismo ma-feel nila na akin to. I'm not saying na hindi maganda mahalo ang girls sa boys. May mga benefits siya, yes. But sometimes yung girls, I think parang maganda rin kung meron siyang sariling ino-own na venue na ito is sa amin. Dito kami girls, ang priority is kami. Parang ganyan. Yun yung pinaka ano. And then also isang motivation is para may apply ko or naming mga coaches na nagpo-coach ngayon sa Beach Hut, yung mga natututunan namin sa coaching courses, sa national team, yung mga experience namin, courses abroad. Yun yung pinaka-purpose nung or motivation na nag-start yung chat na hindi pwedeng sabihin na parang hindi kami magto-tournament ng girls kasi kaunti lang yung team ng girls. So sa beach hut, sometimes may mga tournaments kami, kahit 3 team lang, tutuloy namin siya. Minsan, 2 lang yung available na girls to train, tuloy pa rin namin siya. So I think yun yung pinaka naging motivation sa pag-push ng club na yun. So very lucky na may nagsusupport sa amin. Owner of Beach Hut FC is supportive doon sa vision kung paano at they agree na women's potential, malaki ang potential to give honor talaga sa Philippines na football.
I think interesting rin to note, aside from giving a venue for our young girls to play, is also a place for our, like you mentioned, but I want to emphasize, women coaches at the elite level to coach year-round girls, no? This was not present before unless the elite coaches were coaching in schools. By elite, I mean, of course, those coaching the youth national teams for the girls. So it's a really good development, and I hope that we can grow more from this.
Yes, definitely. And as you were saying as well, to help grow that game, the girls have to continuously be playing games. So whether it's just 2 teams, 3 teams, it's good to see that they're continuously playing, because you won't get better if you're not playing those games. So it's important that you're able to have that venue for girls to continuously be able to improve their skills. Coach Yel, as we were talking about the local players as well, I also want to go a bit into the overseas-based players as well, as being a head coach for the youth national team. What do you think is that difference between the growth and development of local-based players and the overseas-based players?
Okay, I think based on our experience with Coach Joyce handling the under 14 and the under 15 girls team, and having the same, pretty much the same girls in those 2 years, one thing that we were able to notice is the changes in that 1 year. The difference in that 1 year was physically the overseas-based girls. You can tell that they've played a lot of games within that 1 year compared to our local-based girls. In terms of technique, at under 14, there's not much difference. You provincial players, Manila-based players, overseas-based, halos pantay lang yan yung level. You'd have maybe one or two who is probably above everyone else. But at that level, it's pretty much the same. I think a difference would be a mentality. A lot of the overseas-based players are more aggressive. I'm not sure if the culture in our training here in Manila, in the Philippines, or in the provinces, parang pagka 50-50, not all the girls will go out strong. Unlike the overseas-based players, as what we've noticed, talagang they'll go all out. When they come to training camp, they mean business, they're serious, they know their purpose and their roles in the team. And that's one thing that we'd like the Manila-based players or the Philippine-based players to see. Maybe compared to the overseas-based players, mas nabi-baby siguro yung players natin dito. But when they got to U15, you can see there's a bigger gap in terms of tactical understanding, in the sense that you can tell mas maraming games ang nalaro in that 1 year of the overseas-based players. Maybe in 11 aside. I know si Coach Apps, Coach Ching will agree with me, kasi when the girls from Davao or Cebu go back to the provinces, they go back to 7-a-side games, they go back to futsal games. The Manila-based players have more games in RIFA, in the Women's League or the 11-a-side, but kulang siya if you compare it to the overseas-based players. And I think in a training camp where you're given 2-3 weeks to create your team, you'll be able to see the differences in terms of confidence in an 11-a-side match, the composure of the player, just because of their experience in 11-a-side matches. So I think that would be the difference between overseas players and the Philippine-based players. But in terms of off-pitch attitude, I think the girls all get along very well, whether they're from the provinces, from Manila, or from overseas. They're forced to eat the same food, and we're happy they end up liking the same food. So it's very similar. They like dancing together. They like doing all these social media stuff. So that's pretty similar. So yun lang, maybe in terms of game, we were able to see that difference in that 1 year from U14 to U15.
And of course, yeah, as you're talking about, I asked you about the overseas-based players, Coach Apps. I just want you to hone in on as well on those local-based players. You have been successful in being able to produce players that ended up in the youth national team. So take us through that mindset that you try to instill in the players that have led them to great heights, as you know, being called up for the youth national team.
Yung always na yung conditioning sa mind nila is wag patalo talaga. Once andun na sa camp ka, dapat bigay mo yung best mo. If bangga mo, pero dapat clean. Yun lang, Tash.
I've heard that Coach Apps is the disciplinarian. But then from what I can tell you, like her process of how she really takes care of her players is she's the one in touch with their parents. She's the one who really knows what's going on, and the process of even their paperwork, like to that extent, which is why I can see that her players are successful in getting into the national team. And I just want to give a shout out to Miss Lelaine Sarmiento, who is our head of the women's committee and member of the board of the PFF, who is watching us right now. And she says that she's very proud of you coaches. And Ken Alamo, who is asking us, it's a very tough question. When can the 07s try out for the national team? So it's very hard for everyone to answer that type of question right now, but all the same, we wanted to acknowledge him and his question. He has very talented daughters, by the way.
All right. Hello, especially to Miss Lelaine, of course. Coach Ching, just to add on to this discussion as well, you have been very vital in the scouting process, as we say, for finding talents to make it in the national team. what are the key points when it comes to selecting players?
Okay. Key points, no? Minsan depende yan sa coaches eh. Kung anong una niyang titingnan. Yung height ba, yung physical ba, o yung basic ng bata. Sa ganitong age kasi sa mga bata, bihira ka makakita ng malalaki. No, minsan pag malaki nga overage, no? Ganun yung sinasabi. Pero kung tingnan mo yung father, yung mother malaki, so malamang yung anak nila malaki din. Pero minsan talaga pag sa game 11 aside, una mong manonotice diyan is pagpasok nila, sino yung laki nun ah. So minsan advantage yung build, no, yung height, yung build. And then habang naglalaro, tingnan mo individual yung mga basic technique nila. So, kasi pagdating sa national team, alam ko kahit sa national team binabalikan yung basic technique, no? Isang oras, Joyce, isang oras juggling, di ba? Yung ganong na dapat pagdating sa mga national level na sa is na lang yan, 11 aside, understanding. So, aside sa basic technique, bonus points na yan kung marunong siyang maglaro ng 11 aside. No? Kasi yun nga na-mention kanina na more on futsal, 7 aside. So, sa 11 aside, yan kasi yung small picture. No? So, paano siya mag-react pag nasa 11 aside na siya? No? Lalo na yung mga provincial players, hindi masyadong exposed sa ganyan. So, pag mag-scout ka outside Manila, yun yung una mong mapapansin. Yung parang masanay sila sa small area. And then, yun, ma-identify mo agad kung paano sila mag-react sa small area. Doon mo na malalaman, actually, pag andyan na yung player, nasa iyo na matrain mo na kung talagang naiintindihan niya yung 11 aside. No, kasi makikita mo pag bigyan ka ng ilang games lang, minsan off pa yung bata. Pag sunod na game, magaling pala ito na bata na to. So yun, una mong mapapansin, ako as a coach, una kong mapapansin is yung build, tingnan ko, and then to follow yung mga basic technique niya. So yun.
As you know, you're talking about yung game understanding especially, but something that I've noticed even myself that when I joined the national team at a young age was that based to the Manila-based players, the provincial-based players, I felt that they were more technically sound. As you said that, I guess because with the advantage of other players based in Manila is that, of course, they're playing more games. But the advantage as well of the provincial-based players is that they have more time to work on their touch, on making sure that since they always play in small pitches and all that, even when it comes to juggling, so it's always the provincial-based players, they would always beat the Manila-based players. And in a sense na, at least when it comes to their technical ability, their ball mastery, it was very high. So it was also something to see that if they were just given as well those other avenues to be able to progress by allowing them to play, that you could see that there's a lot of potential in those players as well. Coach Joyce, we want to ask you a question that was brought in by Ina Palacios as well. So when it comes to when should a youth player move up to the senior team, and how do we build that bridge?
Yung kung kailan, actually, it will always depend sa maturity, I think, nung player. Okay, so kung yung player, I think kung nandun siya sa U19, ako medyo hindi ako agree na from U16 then you play senior agad. Ganyan. Unless na you're, very exceptional. So yun yung sa akin, lagi magdidepende kung kailan yung siya maglalaro sa higher level. Depende sa coach. Kung ang tingin ng coach, she's ready. Or kung ang purpose ng coach is ma-expose na at a young age, sasama na niya sa national team. I think that's the time na mag-transition from youth or from youth to senior national team. So, akin, yung ko sa kanya is more on magdidepende sa purpose ng coach, sa tingin ng coach. Then, sorry, yung second question hindi ko masyado.
How do we build that bridge?
Okay. So, I think yung very important doon na I think sa experience ko, wala kasi yung U19. Sa experience ko for ilang years, right? Yung U19 na group ang lagi nawawala. No, which is magandang base yun or magandang bridge yun from U16 going to senior. So yung U19 sana I think mag-push. I know Coach Aris pinupush na yan ilang but I'm not sure lang kung ano na yung status. I'm not sure kung ngayon din meron atang plan. Kung hindi man international, siguro yung local competition natin. Very important na magkaroon tayo sa age group na yun. Para ma-bridge yung gap from youth, yung transition from youth to national, seniors.
I think, Natasha, to add with Coach Joyce, I think there's a difference with Ina's question, no, how from the youth to the seniors. Just based on our experience, the girls who are younger, under 14, I think there's an easier transition for the, let's say, 10, 11, 12-year-old girls to be exposed to a training camp with the under 14 compared to maybe if you have a 17-year-old exposing her, unless exceptional, to a senior squad. Back in the day, I was 17 when there wasn't any youth national team. So it was, you get to be invited to try out for the senior squad. And you're fortunate if at your age you're able to play with the mga ates then. But now I would always tell the girls how lucky they are that at such a young age, at U14, U15, they already get to have the experience or exposure to represent the country, girls their age or their age group. With our experience, because there's no under 12, what we would do is bring in maybe a 11, 12-year-old girl who we see as potential for the next 2 years, invite her to the training camp with the team to try out the training camp, give her maybe 1 week or 2 weeks with the team before we make a cut, just so that she's exposed to that kind of training. And it's someone you already see to carry on the under 14 team in the next 2 years. So I think if you're talking about yung youth, no, at what age can you bring them up slowly? It's okay for me personally. I think it's okay to expose at 12, 11, 12 years old to an under 14 team. But it will be a little bit difficult to have a 16, 17-year-old girl playing with, let's say, 25, 28-year-old ladies.
I think in relation also to what Coach Joyce was saying, it's just, it'll be a shame for me personally. Like if we are not able to have any sort of competition in the U19 age bracket, which we should do. I mean, when there will be competition this year or next year, because of the build up of the U14 to U15 to U16, which is pretty much composed of the same group of core girls. So you have girls that have already had a winning record and they have had plenty of experience playing together, not to mention their coaching staff who have been together for how many years now. So for me personally, if we do not really push for this, it would be such a shame. So moving on to a a comment question. It's from Coach Noli Ayo, a familiar name for all of us, from Ateneo de Davao. My personal inspiration for the Zoom to FB Live format. To Coach Ching, in the Palaro, do we play futsal for girls because we want to really promote futsal, or simply because we don't have enough football fields to accommodate both boys and girls football events?
Hello?
Yes.
Sa akin, ano yun? Actually, DepEd ang nag-decide doon na futsal lang. Pero, kasama pa kayo nun sa nag-demo sports ng field, di ba? Sa Bacolod ba yun? Saan ba yun? So, sa tingin ko, kaya pinasok muna nila yung futsal dahil mas madaling makabuo ng team, no? At saka isang problem din is yung venue. So sa tingin ko, at saka mas okay na din siguro yun para hindi daw masyadong mainitan. Hindi. Isang problema talaga field. Kasi isang area, may isa sa problema yan yung pagdating ng palaro o yung games as in sapawan, katatapos lang, the next morning, laro ulit. So, venue talaga. And then, kahit nga futsal venue, mahirap eh. Hindi kami naglalaro ng standard na futsal court. No? Volleyball court, nakatry na kami ng volleyball court, maliit na basketball court. Yun. So, kaya siguro futsal muna yung pinasok kasi nga, yung number of girls. Kasi school-based yan eh.
Trivia lang ha. Kasama rin si Marielle sa demo ng futsal for girls.
Sa Bacolod yun, di ba?
Sa mga...
Sa Tarlac, di ba?
No, but I think there's always a debate with futsal and football. Like at what age? Because I would always say in training camp, the disadvantage of the provincial girls who play futsal, the chances of them making it to the team is smaller only not because they're not technically sound, like what Tosh said, like the provincial girls are very good in their technique, but I think in game understanding. If they're not exposed to 11-a-side games and a coach is pressured to make a team given a 3-week training camp, I think personally I would select, and I think Coach Joyce will agree with me, that you will select maybe a player who is not as technically sound but understands the system more than a player who has problems in game understanding in playing an 11-a-side match but can control the ball very well. So in the preparation and then when the coaches have to cut, minsan talagang nasa-sacrifice yung provincial players only because their exposure is to a small-sided or a futsal game. But again, futsal helps us develop the touches. But in a training camp, when you're only 2-3 weeks to come up with a team, then doon nakikita yung disadvantage.
And of course, as you're talking about advantages and disadvantages, Coach Joyce, I guess we just want to ask as well, what is the system now, especially when it comes to preparations for a U14 tournament or a U16 tournament? Take us through what the system is like now in the Philippines.
So yung system as of now sa Philippines, I attended kasi yung YFL seminar with Coach Aris. Diniscuss niya yan actually. As of now, even kami ng coachel sa youth, ang namin na maging dynamic how we play. Meaning hindi tayo nakakulong sa isang system lang. I mean, we have to identify if we can go forward, we go forward. If we cannot go forward, then anong gagawin natin? If hindi tayo maka-play at the back, anong gagawin natin? So I think more on the system is more on dynamic. We have to play dynamic. And for me, sa ngayon, sa youth, ang isang gusto ko talaga makita is yung creativity. Huwag mawala, huwag mahinder yung creativity for us to decide well in times na dumating yung situation. Ano bang gagawin ko? So I think for a time, for sure, naabutan mo yung Tashiel na medyo tayo, yun nga, di ba yung sinasabi nyo na dati nadidepensa lang tayo lagi, di ba? So, which is totoo. Parang before, kakatas mo lang makuha yung bola, pagod ka na, kailangan ulit kuhain yung bola. Sandali pa lang, nawala na yung bola. But now, with the national team ng SEA Games, ng Olympic qualifier, I think yun nga, nagiging mas dynamic tayo. Yung sistema natin to play, mas malawak yung understanding, mas madami tayo nakita. We play dynamic football right now.
Coach Apps, as we are talking about the advantages again and disadvantages of local and foreign and overseas-based players, in your opinion, what can you do? What can coaches do to be able to make sure that the local-based players are doing the best that they can to be able to make it in the national team?
First, Tash, if gusto talaga ng coaches na mag-improve yung team nila, yung girls team nila, I think they should get licensed coaching course Yun, kasi nakakatulong talaga yung Tash. Kasi yung experience namin sa national team last year, may ibang players pa na yung basic tactic like covering, 2v2 covering, parang bago pa sa kanila. So I think if naturo na natin yan sa sa provinces, sa team nila sa provinces, pagdating sa national camp, I think it's easier for the head coach na kung mag-advance na yung tactics na ituro sa team.
Coach Ching, as we said that this is what's going on. This is our reality right now. But what do we need to do to be able to take women's football, the youth football, to the next step?
Kasi yung players na naging member ng youth team, yung sa batch namin is Manila based at saka half from provincial players. So doon pa lang makikita natin na yung mga provincial players natin kaya nilang makipag-compete, no? So kung alagaan natin yun sila, lalo na yung mga coaches, no, kasi yung pinaka-importante talaga na role is yung coaches. Kasi kung hindi natin turuan ng maayos yung mga players natin, hindi yan sila aangat. Unless mag-individual sila, sila sa sarili nila, mag-extra. Kasi yung mga players from the province, nagdedepende lang yan sila sa mga coaches, kung ano ituro. Buti nga may YouTube no? May mga tutorial sa YouTube. No? Kung hindi kaya ni coach, doon ako mag-YouTube. Mga ganun ba? Pero malaking bagay talaga ang role ng coaches para ma-improve yung natin, women's football sa Pilipinas. So aside from that, kailangan din ng suporta. Kung local tayo, kailangan suporta from FA, no? Huwag na tayong mag-antay ng may magbigay kasi wala talagang magbibigay kung hindi tayo hihingi. No, doon nahihirapan yung women's football. Kailangan nating humingi. Minsan may magbibigay na kasi gusto nila, kasi alam nila, naiintindihan nila yung coaches, alam nila na ang women's football is may chance, no? Malaki yung chance. Andyan yung mga coaches. Pag may magtrabaho lang, ma-encourage naman yan sila magbigay no? Kaya siguro andito tayo para ma-inspire naman siguro, na-inspire ba siya? Maka-inspire sa iba na makatulong din para sa national team kasi doon din tayo galing sa national team. Kung ano yung mga na-experience natin, no, na proud tayo, naging part ng national team, nakapaglaro, parang yun yung gusto natin ding sa kanila sa mga players. So sana yung mga nasa baba, yung mga FAs sa local, bigyan nila ng halaga yung girls, no? Hindi puro men's lang, boys lang, no? So kailangan talaga. Ayun lang.
Coach, I actually really agree with your point, especially in the sense na women's football, it's not like men's football, it's given, everything is given. For women's football, it's very important that we fight for our right to be here. Again, we also just can't wait because if we just wait for them to give, they're most probably not going to give. Not by a long shot and not enough for what we need. But you also have to fight for it. So especially that a lot of you here, a lot of people here are in positions to be able to fight for more. Then I really think that you should all especially take it upon yourselves to make sure that her game will grow. And, it'll only grow if you continue to fight for it. Coach Yel, for you, moving forward, what does success look like for you? When it comes to women's football coaching, what does success look like for you?
Well, I think as a coach, a youth national coach, I would tell Coach Joyce that I think for me, success will only be measured if the young girls that we've handled, that I'm able to see at least 4 or 5 of these young girls that we've been able to handle actually move up all the way to the senior squad. I think the results, the silver medals that we got are bonuses in developing the players. And the success would be to see them grow, the love for the game, to grow their in the sport, and to eventually represent the country at the level of the senior squad. But as a fan of the sport, I think the biggest success would be being able to see women succeed in the sport, to have careers in the sport, be it as a coach, be it as a professional player, as a female, a women referee, administrator, whether a match commissioner, just finding that career and being able to sustain a life, or to have a career in the sport, or in the game that we all love, which is football. So I think that would be the biggest success here in the Philippines.
Pang Miss Universe na
Agree. Agree. Do you agree?
Winner na. May winner na.
Belay, do you have anything to add to that? Are you talking me? After Miss Universe, na pressure. Basta ba? Wala ka namang question.
No, I mean, I think this grow her game, this forum now that we're in ECQ, is a huge step for us, for the women. The things that you girls we are doing, just empowering, even with Beach Hut, all the other clubs, still touching base with the players, keeping them motivated, even if they just be on the screen. I think it's big. We all don't know what happens after the ECQ with this COVID, this pandemic. So I think it's really for us empowering each other, whether you're an active or inactive member of the RFAs, or just really growing the game. I think women empowering women is a huge step in for us to be able to achieve that success that we all want. I'm sure we all want that, to have careers in this sport.
For me, no, like I've said it already, and I'll say it again, because the coaches you have here on your screen are very humble and will not say it themselves. A lot of the success of the girls program also is due to like these coaches who chose to dedicate, if not their whole career, a large portion of their careers to growing her game. And I'm very thankful to be working with them and to be learning from them, because they really put their everything when they commit to a team, when they commit to anything they do with regards to coaching or growing the game. So yun lang. I'm very honored to share the screen with all four of you, and thank you for all the success that the girls have gotten because of your hard work.
Of course, Coach Joyce, Coach Apps, Coach Ching, and Coach Yel. As Belay said, of course, we'd like to thank you for dedicating not only your time now, but for continuously dedicating your time and your efforts to making sure that women's football is alive and well, whether it be at the youth development stage, the women's national team, or that there are girls continuously taking those coaching courses, making sure that they're educating themselves to be able to be in a position that they know what to do. Because you might be able to be in that position where you're a head coach, in a position to be able to do great things. But it's important that you allow yourself to be educated for your position as well. And we can see with what all of you are doing now, with your A license, B license, and making sure that you're using it as a tool to be able to impact other people. It's very inspiring. And we hope that more people watching this will continue to follow the great examples that each one of you has made, and will continue, as we say, to grow her game. So, Belay?
Thank you, Tosh. I think today we succeeded in keeping everyone engaged and connected in the girls' football game. I hope you will join us next week for session 4 of #GrowHerGame, where we will be speaking to members of the Youth Girls National Team, the players of these coaches in front of us. We will have Joyce Macho, Anya Fuentes, MJ Villasian, and Raya Tolentino. And they will be sharing their experience and thoughts with us for next week. So that's it for this week, and hope to see you again next week. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Thanks.